And again, for Raggy, we are going to review Silent Hill Origins. Now, Silent Hill Origins was the first game to be made besides the Japanese. I do believe it was a European developer who created this game. Now, I think it's a good game. It captures the atmosphere, and it has that same sort of feel to the atmosphere that the first game had, because it does take place 7 years before the first game. There are some gamers that believe that it has inconsistencies in the story, but a lot of the inconsistencies are derived from Lost Memories, which is a Japanese-only book that explains a lot of different things. It fits into the canon fine, in my opinion, as long as you don't take certain aspects of media that has been released in Japan, revealing a few secrets about the Silent Hill franchise. Now, I really think that a lot of people don't take into consideration the fact that it's not written in stone. You can change little things here and there. You can reveal something that changes the aspect of something that was done previously. It's not like Team Silent sit there and wrote a book saying you cannot do this. This is exactly what you can't do. And I really think that gamers don't give it that benefit because of the fact that it's not a Japanese developer, because it's not Team Silent. But, I mean, if you look at most video game franchises, they do change developers and creators. They change. The teams that work on them change. Even the director of Silent Hill 1 is not the same director as 2 or even 3. Each one has had a different director. Now, with the story, I like the story, but I have 2 problems with it. One, they didn't explain certain things so that they could kind of leave that kind of opening that the previous Silent Hill games leave, in which the player has to come to their own reasoning or their own theory. But in this game, it's not done as well. It definitely feels more push onto it as compared to the previous Silent Hill games. They just leave certain things out here and there about the story so that you have to come up with it on your own. Another problem I have with the story is a lot of Silent Hill fans believe that Silent Hill 2 is the best Silent Hill game ever. It's the quintessential best Silent Hill game. And so, new developers take that into consideration. They take into consideration the psychological aspects of the second game as compared to a lot of the demonology aspects of just about every other game in the franchise. So what they tried to do with the story in Silent Hill Origins is they have the psychological aspect, and then they have the more demonology aspect, which deals with Alessa and the ritual and sacrifice and stuff like that, what's going on with her story. The only thing is, I do believe I mentioned this in Silent Hill Homecoming review, is you have these 2 sides of the story, but sorry. And as you're playing the game, it goes in and out, in and out. And I really don't think that by the end of the game, I don't think that the stories intertwine very well at all, actually. And those are my 2 problems with the story. Now, the gameplay. There's one minor detail about the gameplay that I absolutely can't stand. This was kind of started in Silent Hill 4 where you would get the golf clubs or anything like that and they would break on you. In this game, every single melee weapon will break on you. And sometimes it's surprising how quickly they do break. It's an interesting attempt to make it realistic, but when I have a katana, I expect it not to break after 3 slices to a squishy nurse. I really don't think a katana should break that quickly. Would it plague, however, that's another story. If they had just maybe gone into more detail with that system and maybe made some weapons a lot stronger than other weapons, made it a little more realistic, Because if you have a steel pipe, it's going to last longer than a wooden pipe. And if you have a katana, it's going to last longer than various other weapons that you have. And also, I've never seen a man be able to carry 6 portable TVs. That's insane. Another thing is, due to the fact that the original console that it was intended for, the PSP, they had to cut out a lot of levels. And that does make the game kind of feel lacking. Now, on the PS2, there are a few glitches. But if you have the PS3, it doesn't have any problems. So, if you have a PS3, hey, you can play the game without glitches. If you have a PS2, good luck. But anyway, with those little problems I have with it, besides that, there are some really cool moments. At the very beginning of the game, you do have to save Alessa from burning the house. She is on the 2nd floor, as compared to the boiler room, as in the original Silent Hill game. But there's also a memo that explains that inconsistency. So that inconsistency that a lot of people complain about, I really don't see as an issue due to the fact that developers realize that it's an inconsistency and realize that, hey, this is why it's like that. Now, whether you play it on the PSP or the PS2, it will be a little different. The graphics are a little more detailed, the textures and such are more detailed on the PS2 version. It's not a bad Silent Hill game, but they do have a tendency to stick with the formula. They don't try anything new. They're like, okay, they're trying things that forward new, let's make this like the old Silent Hill game. I have a problem with that. Because if you stick to the formula, like I said, the franchise will die. No sir. But the developer did a pretty good job. They've already got another Silent Hill game in the making, Shattered Memory, which they are trying to do things. And this game wasn't bad. If you're a Silent Hill fan, play it. Formulate your own opinion. There's always haters for every franchise, so make your own opinion on it.